This is Jonathan Thomson, editor-in-chief of the student newspaper, The Dome, and I'm sitting here with Mark Benedetto, co-manager of WDNR. Mark approached me today and told me that he had a story of a possibly paranormal encounter that he'd like to share. Mark?
Thank you, Chief. So I was a freshman going back in 2007. It was October. My friend came up to visit for the weekend. It was a Friday night, and it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Football just got done their practice. I was heading down to the stadium to show my friend where I practice for track because I run track and field. And we get to the stadium, football players are leaving. And I get onto the field. We stand on the middle of the field on where the W is and just walk around. And he's like, wow, this is really cool. And then I just start hearing some sounds. And almost there's always animals around the field because they're surrounded by woods. But it's okay, it's probably just some animals. And then as I'm walking towards the scoreboard, I hear it getting louder. And then all of a sudden I see some kind of figure by the scoreboard, almost as if it was like a horse or some kind of beast. And it was really bright white, almost like it was illuminating, but it was really white. And I just saw it, and it looked up and saw me, and then it started galloping or charging towards us. And I just told my friend, run. And we sprinted off the field, hopped over the fence, and ran all the way to the field house. And when we got there, when we stopped, my friend saw the same thing I did, and he thought I was making those noises at first. But then when he saw what I saw, he just took off and ran. And then at first he realized that he thought probably we got in trouble because I said run, so he thought maybe campus safety was get off the field or something. So I just took off and ran, but afterwards he saw the same thing I did, and to this day I don't know what it was. To me, it might have been a horse. It might have been.
What would a horse be doing on the?
Exactly.
Well, it could have been a deer with some sort of.
It wasn't a deer because it was a lot bigger, and it was almost like a growling sound. And
how could it?
That's the thing. I mean, it galloped like a horse, and it had the body of a horse, but it wasn't a deer. Because I'm around hunters all the time where I live, and I know what a deer looks like. And like I said, it was really, really white, and it was big. It almost looked like probably as big as a Clydesdale, something like that.
Okay.
And to this day, every day when I practice down there, I just always glance over at the scoreboard, and I just always remember what I saw. And
yeah.
It might not be one of those great, fantastic ghost stories, but it's something that I just always remember, especially as a freshman. Like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong
school
or something like that. But
well, that's the point of our investigations into the paranormal. It seems like the more people you ask, the more people are willing to come forward. It seems like everybody has a ghost story.
Right, and that was my first encounter with the paranormal, because I also have a second encounter if we have enough time to continue.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we have enough time to continue.
Okay, great. So I was in part of Theater Widener for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, and I was sound engineer. And Theater Widener is an old church located on campus, and the sound booth is up top, overlooking the stage, above the seating. And there's a neat little ladder. It almost is like steps. It was a ladder you have to climb up to get to the sound booth. And many times, doing my show, when there were shows going on, I was doing the sound. A lot of times I would hear footsteps, climbing up the ladder. And I would turn around and look down the ladder, and there's no one there. So Bowden Sanko, director of Theater Widener, I would ask him about this. And he goes, oh, yes, there's a ghost that haunts the theater. And I'm just like, really? I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because I'm really one not to believe in this stuff like that. So as I got on throughout the year and did more shows and things like that, I would notice that there was more sounds and things like that. And as I was doing more shows in the middle of the set, sometimes Bowden would walk up to check on us, but other times just I heard his footsteps and also a gust of cold air. So at times I'm like, wow, maybe there is a presence amongst me. It was actually kind of weird because I never really encountered this paranormal activity before until I came to Widener. So far that's my 2 experiences I've had. Hopefully I don't have any more, but
yeah, I would. Well,
I don't think the radio station is haunted, at least not yet. So
well, sometimes at night you do hear the strange, spooky sounds.
Yes.
But this is an old building, and so is the church that Theater Widener's in.
Another encounter, not really encounter, another spooky presence is actually I had to privilege to go up to the dome above Old Main twice.
The actual dome.
The actual dome twice, and the whole fourth floor up there is just like a time capsule. It's really amazing how neat. It's still, like trapped in time back there in the early ages of Widener. And I'm not saying there's ghosts up there, but it's really a spooky presence. And maybe sometime, John, if you like, when I'm working up on the transmitter again, you come up, you can do a story about that.
Yeah, I think that'll be real good. Well, we're almost out of time, Mark, so I'm just going to end this. Is there anything else you'd like to wrap up with?
No, just if you ever hear anything else or any other paranormal activities or experiences, please contact John here. He's looking to get a lot of stories written down for a great article and probably publication he's going to be making probably next semester or this semester, correct?
Yeah, I think it could, especially if the issue is released around Halloween.
That would be great.
That would make a great...
That'd be a real trick and treat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but for right now, we're definitely focusing on getting content on the online edition of thedomenews.com.
That's great. Yeah, well, all right, John, I thank you for calling me into your office and allowing me to talk. I really appreciate it, and good luck with the Dome and all your other encounters.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Thank you.